Ice is a labor of love. This is where the magic happens. It takes 3 days to freeze water into a 300-pound block of ice.
What started this whole thing?
We wanted to create a perfect experience for our friends.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we look in the cooler and all of our ice was melted. A guy named Bueno-san popped up on the screen. We looked at each other and we're like, we need to go meet that guy. Everyone in our company, we make an owner.
That's really cool.
We have so many different brands for bottled water, but for ice, it hasn't been a thing. The question I asked myself, what would I regret more?
If you want it, go after it. Hospitality has 1,000 stories about chefs, about spirits and technique. One ingredient sits quietly in almost every single glass: ice. We talk about recipes, we talk about flavor, we talk about tools, but we almost never talk about the element that touches every single sip. We're talking about a part of hospitality that most people just simply overlook until somebody extraordinary shows them why it matters. Today, I'm seated with the co-founder of Quarry Ice, Audrey Sullivan. Welcome to All in Good Taste.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
Well, I'm excited to have you here at the Quarry Ice Factory.
Yeah, let's talk about where actually we are right now. And for our guests who are listening, there's a reason why this episode is a little bit louder. We have some band saws going on in the background, some big, beautiful blocks of ice getting cut up. Can you tell us about your space?
Yeah, sure. So this is where the magic happens. Ice is a labor of love. As consumers, historically, we've only had two options for ice. We've had a big bag of kind of crappy ice.
For sure.
Sorry. And a small bag of kind of crappy ice.
Yeah.
And those types of, experiences don't have the purification and the thoughtfulness that goes into the process of creating the product behind what they're doing. And so here at the Quarry Ice Factory, everything is hand cut. That's why you hear the loud sound. And everything has a very intentional process that goes along with it.
For sure, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just get into the origin and the spark and why Quarry Ice was created. When did you first notice that ice can positively impact a drink, but can also completely ruin a drink?
I was reflecting on that because I think subconsciously I've always had this thing. It's not like I was like this ice snob or
Sure.
aficionado my entire life. I think there were these nuances that would occur as I would either have like a hot iced coffee on a hot day and the ice would melt, or a Bloody Mary at a tailgate and it was hot and gross. A warm margarita, which really was the catalyst for how I thought of Quarry Ice.
Yeah. Can you tell me about that specifically? This warm margarita, what story is behind that? What started this whole thing?
Yeah, so we were on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
We live in Chicago. Chicago's our home.
Should have mentioned Chicago-based ice company.
Yes,
Fulton Market,
Chicago-based.
right? Yes.
Yeah. We were on Lake Michigan. We were with friends. It was a beautiful day in Chicago. I had just learned to sail, and we wanted to create a perfect experience for our friends.
Yeah.
And everything about the day was perfect. Our friends, the company, the weather, the drinks, except for we were in the middle of the lake and it was so hot. And all of a sudden we look in the cooler and all of our ice was melted.
That's the worst.
And so I looked at my friends and my partner and realized that there has to be a better way. I think we have so many different brands for bottled water, but for ice, it hasn't been a thing.
Okay, well, thank you. I know you also do have a bit of a history in the hospitality space outside of Quarry, correct? Where did that journey start from you? Do you have a background in hospitality, or is this something that came to you later in life?
Yeah, I grew up in the restaurant business.
Okay, really cool. Like
from
mom and pop shops?
Mom and pop,
Okay.
yeah. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally.
Love it.
My parents owned a restaurant, and it was a successful restaurant.
What was the name? Is it still around? Is it?
It's not anymore. It's called Instant Replay Sports Grill.
Okay.
We all wore referee jerseys, and we were very much on theme. But we had a world-class beverage and food program.
Okay,
Our
so I can
chef-
see where this is
yeah.
kind of starting.
So
here.
our chef was from France. Everything was made from scratch. We were very intentional about our ingredients. It
Yeah.
was before the time of farm to table. I experienced firsthand growing up from the time I was a teenager, bussing tables, serving, then bartending, then running the business.
Yes.
And then also worked my way, of course, through college bartending and serving.
I would love to hear a little bit, honestly, about the college bartending here, too. I'm assuming there was no Quarry Ice back then. We're just over ice chips and ice out of the freezer, no?
You're right. I think the biggest thing back then was Red Bull and vodka.
Red Bull and vodka.
Yeah, energy drinks, not necessarily our go-to anymore.
That's fair. Now everybody's espresso martinis.
Yeah, espresso martinis. I love a good espresso martini.
Well, maybe we'll have to figure out knocking out one or two of those later here.
It sounds great.
Out of your history, I know you grew up in restaurants. Who was the first person who taught you what hospitality itself felt like?
My mom. Yeah, my mom was just a magnificent entertainer.
Yeah.
Not only how she would run the restaurant, but even in our home. Our home was a place where people were just welcomed.
I love that.
And I think what she taught me most was if you're authentic, if you're warm and people feel safe to really come in and be themselves,
Yeah.
that's where it's at. That's what we all want to do. We all want to put our feet up. We all want to enjoy. And
That
that was my mom.
I love when there's the family ties and everything that bring us back to, where we belong. And I can obviously see that carried through what you do even today, right? Taking care of people, welcoming people in. Like, I, once again, feel so blessed to be inside of your operating factory today that you opened this up to us to beat it. So once again, thankful on that front. I kind of want to get into how all of this really came into fruition now. What really gave you the idea of the craft? Because elevated ice has existed, but I feel like the market is still relatively new. I feel like it's a fresher business, at least maybe stateside. So what was the first things that you saw that really pushed you into the world of craft ice? Did you travel? Did you explore things? What kind of pulled you into this world?
Yeah, and to your point, large block ice did exist, especially prior to modern technology.
Yeah.
And then the ice machine was invented. Love it or hate it. Obviously, there's now an option for better ice.
Yes.
But we would harvest ice blocks from lakes to ensure that the food in our refrigerators were chills.
Yeah.
That was a common practice.
Yeah.
And so for us, when we had this, or when we were on the lake, and I started to think about why don't we have an option for better ice?
Yeah.
And by better ice, what I wanted at that time when we were on Lake Michigan and we had these margaritas and we had these drinks and everything was warm, I just wanted something to last longer.
For sure.
I wanted something to kind of mirror the elevated moment that we were having in a way that, we talk about ice as a garnish, or is ice a garnish or is ice an ingredient? And so that's
I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
That is another great question, which I actually just, side note and jumping off on that, what is your opinion on it? Is it an ingredient? Is it a garnish? I think, to me, I've always seen ice as an ingredient. Because for myself, when I was like costing out menus, I'd have to think of, what does a big rock cost me when I'm doing like beverage costs and stuff? In your world, is it a garnish? Is it an ingredient? What is your perspective on that?
I think it's both.
Oh, okay.
It's both, because ice brings an aesthetic and a beauty to elevate whatever you're drinking, but there's also a utility to it. And so to your question, as it relates to like how we kind of went from this idea to understanding the art and the ritual really of ice.
For sure.
We traveled the world in search of the perfect ice. And I know that sounds crazy. It was before we had kids.
No, I think that's incredible. And I really want to like jump in on that. Where did you go? Where was the best ice?
Well, it brought us to Japan.
Okay.
The best ice was in Japan.
Heard.
We did go to Italy. We went to France. We went different places,
Yeah.
but where the real appreciation for the details and the details not only being precise, but being beautiful, having a purpose.
Yeah.
It all came together, and that's really where we found the answer to why ice and why now and why would people even want an ice.
For sure. When you were in Japan, what specific experiences showed you, or did you have somebody who mentored you, or kind of brought this more into relevance for you? Like, once you got to Japan, what did you do? What did you see? What inspired to build all this?
So before we went to Japan, we had planned, I was from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
We had a tradition of going back to Cleveland for Thanksgiving every year. My partner and I were watching Mind of a Chef on Netflix.
Okay, yes.
On Mind of a Chef, Bar High Five, which was rated the #1 bar in the world for a number of years, a guy named Ueno-san popped up on the screen. And we looked at each other and we're like, we need to go meet that guy. And that was it. And so we canceled our flights to Cleveland. We flew to Japan. We went on search for Ueno-san at Bar High Five.
Wow.
And he caught us our device. Not only that we find our manufacturing, we cut our ice with samurai steel, and I know we're going to get into the process, but
Yeah.
our partners are there as well. And there's just this appreciation for every ingredient. No ingredient gets left behind. No detail gets left behind. And it's really this something can't be elevated, something can't be perfect if every detail doesn't work together for the good. Yeah. And I think that's true in restaurants and hospitality. It's true at home, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
I love that. Thank you. Tell me specifically about maybe a technique, or I'm going to use the word ritual, a technique or a ritual that stuck with you when you were in Japan.
Something that stuck with us is the ritual of intentionality. I mean, me personally, I think I've been on this lifelong journey of just being more intentional and conscious in my health choices and in my life choices. And I think a lot of people might be kind of going through that same journey. And I think in Japan, what we saw, not only in food and in hospitality, but even in drinks, every ingredient had a purpose. The ice had a purpose. The ice for dilution purposes. The ice in the way that it was cut, just so that the surface area was perfect. The beauty of it. And so all of these things work together to create really an intentional present moment where you're not chugging a drink, you're not chugging a cocktail, you're really enjoying it, you're savoring it. And it's almost a form of this ritual of self-care. I think that's what I was getting at. Because in this journey, I'm focused on more self-care.
Which is incredibly important, and honestly, we need more of it in this space. So.
Yeah. And there's little things that we can do that really, they're little gestures that show self-care to ourselves or even to others.
Yeah. Well, kind of going off of that note, I know you very briefly mentioned talking about Japanese steel and things like that there. The name Quarry Ice. I want to start with, where does that come from? What does Quarry mean? Where does that come from?
So Quarry means ice in Japanese.
Okay.
It's spelled differently. It's a K-O-R-I, Quarry.
Quarry.
It's also a nod to how ice was stored.
Like you were talking about the lakes, right?
Yeah,
and
when you're harvesting ice, it would be stored in quarry. You unearth precious gems in quarry.
Yes.
And so quarry just felt like the right word to really reflect what we were trying to do here as it relates to really elevating and bringing a new life to what ice could be.
And on that same note, speaking about Japanese, the name is inspired that way. What makes Quarry Ice unique? I know you have some things that you do here that are a little bit different to some of your other friends in the ice space.
Yeah.
What is unique about Quarry Ice?
All ice isn't created equal. right?
Yeah.
And I think in any experience, right, we have some great restaurant groups in Chicago.
Yeah.
And each restaurant group has a tinge of a different experience.
For sure.
And I think that's due to the people, right? The people that we work with, everyone in our company, we make an owner.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
I came from the software world where that's not uncommon to get stock options in the companies that you're working with. And so we really want people to come on board and feel like they have an opportunity to grow something and create something and have that same ownership mentality that I do as an entrepreneur. The other piece I would say would be obviously our process, the purification process. We use reverse osmosis purification. That's extremely important when you're drinking a drink.
Yeah.
Because you, just like bottled water, you want, with reverse osmosis bottled water, you want to taste the quality of whatever it is you're drinking, whether it's a cocktail or a mocktail. And so you want your ice to be almost at neutral. And so we test our water every day to make sure it's perfect so that it's at that zero neutrality so that you could really enhance whatever you're drinking. And then also the freezing and cutting process. It gives us the densest, clearest blocks of anything out
Which
there.
I was about to say, and still kind of just see them off there in the background there.
I know, we're at the end of our production here. We start early and we end around, what is it? We end around 4?
4 o'clock? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're cutting the ice for some of the city's finest restaurants and grocery stores.
How long does that take from start to finish? So let's say we are starting to freeze ice. How long is the whole thing till you get one of those big, beautiful blocks and then you store it and then you send it out?
Yeah, 3 days.
Okay, 3 days.
3 days.
Heard.
And so it's truly a labor of love. It takes 3 days to freeze water into a 300-pound block of ice. Our freezers do not freeze the way our ice block makers freeze.
Yeah.
It's called directional freezing. So water is moving as it's freezing, and it's taking out all the air bubbles, which makes a really dense block of ice.
Yeah.
That allows it to melt slower and to control the dilution in your drinks. And that takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't even think of those sorts of processes. It's kind of the same reason why, obviously, like for amateurly, like making ice at home. And this is just a personal side note, and obviously a toast to you. I'm actually super happy to be sitting here with Audrey because I've actually been drinking my spirits on her ice for about 4 to 5 years with my father. And that's just a brief little side note, but really kind of cool to tie it back to that. I used to be, putting my ice into my ice trays, trying to make big rocks at home, and same thing, it would melt too quick, it wouldn't taste right, especially when we're talking about, spirits that are 30, 40 plus an ounce. Like it is important. It is so valuable that you're getting that true, clean, and like slow diluting taste. So that's really cool that you're taking through all those steps. What about for people who are trying to get ice at home? Obviously, I know you can buy Quarry Ice at a handful of stores, correct?
You can. Binny's, Kynan's, Jewel, the Fresh Market, Mariano's.
If I wasn't going to go that route, which you totally should, what can I do to make my ice better at home?
You can't.
Well, okay, then I'm sold.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
look, I mean, there are, obviously you can buy trays.
For sure.
They're not going to be as clear. They're not going to melt. They're going to obviously melt much faster. You can have control over the water that you're using to freeze your own ice. It's an industrial process.
Gotcha.
And so you can.
Yeah, you can.
Why?
But why?
Oh,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
When you can create that special and go get it.
And then, I mean, you see it kind of all across the hospitality world. I mean, it is clearly used in all these large-scale restaurants, and it's incredibly, I can rarely think of places that I go that do not offer, large purified cubes. Now, I can't say that they're all to the same level like we were talking prior, but it really does have such an immense impact on the guest experience. So it's really cool to see that it is being adopted even wider, and it is really kind of taking over the market in that sense of having,
Yeah.
really nice, really clean, beautiful cook with their ice. Kind of moving into the physicality of building the business and where you are now. For any other entrepreneurs out there trying to get into like the food and beverage space, what would be some of your recommendations, or what were some of the biggest challenges that you didn't expect?
I think for me, being an empath,
Okay.
you really want people to come along with you
Yeah.
and take ownership of your vision, like you take ownership of your vision
Yeah.
as an owner.
Yeah.
Right? I'm passionate about what we do.
You love it.
I love
it's your
it.
baby.
Yeah, it's our baby. And so when those relationships don't work out, that's really hard.
Yeah.
I think when you talk to seasoned entrepreneurs and business owners who have been at this for decades, or it's not their first rodeo.
Yeah.
Even though my parents were entrepreneurs, and so were Neil's, and he was in private equity, and I mean, this is our first baby, and so I think there was a lot of learning along the way that there are different people that you need for different times in your growth trajectory. But at the end of the day, your people are so important.
Yeah.
And so how do you really differentiate that experience for your people in a business that is hard?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done every single job in this business. I've been on the production floor. I've carried ice. I've driven our reefer truck.
Which also carrying ice, how do you carry a 300-pound or a 300-pound block of ice? How do you move that through this space?
I know. Thankfully, we have like a levee system, and we have conveyor belts.
Yeah.
But then you have to cut it down.
For sure.
But even each individual box that we package for restaurant,
Yeah.
That's a 50-pound box.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're moving a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy as coals. And it's finicky, right? Like you have to know your business deeply. Like when we started, I mean, even the intricacies and the temperature, when you pull a block out that's ready,
Yeah.
you pull a 300-pound block out of a freezer, you can't cut it right away.
Yeah.
It has to be at the right temperature so that you can precision cut that block with our samurai steel in a way that just pops in a glass, right? Like you want those corners to be perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we take a lot of care into the precision piece.
Yeah.
And I think if I were doing this again, or if I was starting a restaurant, I think just leaning on others to have kind of done it before, gone there before you, and doing that earlier. We have a great support system now. Using that advice and taking that advice seriously, because sometimes as founders, you could get tunnel vision in the details in the day-to-day.
And I know we talked a lot about personal things and relationships, and I know you talked about at the very beginning of this, like your mother being so warm and so welcoming and like taking people in and doing all these sorts of things. I also know you run some really cool programs internally with Quarry Ice with your employees and your team. If I'm correct, is it like a second chance? Can you talk a little bit about like your employee ethos and the programs that you run internally here for your teams?
Yeah, so we have a heart, and we want to do a lot more in this area.
Yeah.
We work with Sarah Chicago, which is a nonprofit here in town. You might have heard of them.
I have, yeah.
Okay.
But for our guests who haven't.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So if you haven't heard of Sarah Chicago, they're a wonderful nonprofit here in town, and they focus on rehabilitating individuals who may have made a wrong decision and are reacclimating after prison, or are battling poverty. And they put them through a pretty incredible training program to set them up for success in the world. And we work with them to bring the right individuals on that don't have like violent or sexual pasts.
Yeah.
And we want them to be part of our team and give them ownership and grow with us, and it's really hard sometimes, because I remember working alongside a team, some of our second chancers, and sometimes there's challenges that come up in terms of even just like conflict resolution and in the workplace and things like that that unfortunately can't be tolerated.
Yeah.
But then there's success stories where there's team members, like there's a guy named Bernie on our team who's been with us almost 10 years.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
Quarry Ice has really, he says, like, it's changed him as a person.
Well, that's
and
incredible.
We're so thankful to have him.
I love those success stories and that personal thing. And once again, it really goes back to the basics of connecting and caring about people. For me, that's really what, hospitality is through and through. So I love to see that you have these incredibly cool, equity-focused things for your team, and genuinely caring about people and like giving you second opportunities is a really unique space to be in. And thank you for sharing that bit of personal stuff with us here too.
Yeah.
I think another question that I kind of want to ask, last bit of this little entrepreneur piece, right? Was there a moment in building this that broke you? Was there a moment that you're like, God, I don't know if I can, keep pushing through this? So is something like that happened during your journey here with Quarry?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of hospitality.
Yeah.
It was a moment where we had to pause and say, could we do this?
Yeah.
Could we continue to do this? At the time, we were about a year in. We had some restaurant customers. I mean, we were working with Gibson's Group, which was an extremely proud accomplishment.
Yeah.
And we had just gotten into Binny's. I don't know if you remember this, like what happened during that time
Oh, yeah.
is the hospitality world, we rallied around each other.
Yeah.
We partnered. I remember we live in Lincoln Park, in Summer House, Santa Monica. They were doing cocktail
to-go
programs
cocktails.
to go.
Yes.
And come on in, like bring your 4-packs of ice. Like let's throw the ice in the cocktail programs to go.
That's great.
And it's, of course, if we're going to have cocktails at home,
We got to have the ice to go with it, of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we were able to pivot and we got through it. Thank God.
Kind of got to make a little win out of obviously an incredibly, incredibly tricky time.
Yeah.
Well, my next question was going to be, how do you rebuild from it? But you already answered the question in the question, so that's that's great. I think kind of my last bit here that I really just want to jump into, or actually, I'll roll it back just slightly. Specifically talking about ice and this sort of stuff. How has teaching craft changed people, and how has it changed you, so to speak?
That's a deep question.
Now, I got to give you a couple hard-hitting ones here before we switch over to a little rapid fire round. So,
I hope, right? Like, I hope when someone buys Quarry Ice and they elevate whatever they're drinking at home. I mean, I remember I was in Fresh Market about a year ago, and I was talking to the manager at Fresh Market in Lincoln Park, and a girl walked up to our freezer, and we had just gotten into that store, and she's like, "Excuse me, I need to get my Quarry Ice." And it made me so happy to see this. And I asked her, I was like, "What are you buying Quarry Ice for? How do you know about Quarry Ice?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I buy a bag weekly for my iced coffee." She said she basically said it's her ritual. It's her ritual. And it makes her feel good. And so when I think about having Quarry Ice and having access to Quarry Ice, if it's that one thing, it could give you a little, a little spice in your day, whether it's a kombucha or iced coffee or a beautiful whiskey. I put a cube in my white wine. I know that might not be properly sophisticated, but I enjoy a little dilution.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a big believer in drink your beverage however you want to drink it, right? Yeah, there are a whole bunch of purists out there, but if you like some ice in your white wine, have some ice in your white wine. It's about you and your experience. So,
yeah,
and if this is something that can help elevate the experience, why not do it, and why not use it?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take a big rock of Quarry and throw it in a glass of white wine later today and see if that works for me too.
Okay.
A little super chilled,
Let
right?
me know how good.
I will.
Yeah. I love that.
Well, this has been fantastic. We're just going to switch now to our last segment here. Just a little bit of a pseudo rapid fire round of questions that we like to refer to as our tasting menu. The tasting menu is a set of 6 questions that is the same for every single guest. We just kind of talk about your philosophy of hospitality, and then that's kind of it. So starting right off the top with our amuse-bouche, What is the smallest gesture of hospitality that has had the biggest impact on you?
I think it's authenticity. I think we've lost the art of hospitality in many ways.
Yeah.
Like that feeling I was talking about, that when you walk into a restaurant and there's this confidence and just trust in knowing that you're going to be taken care of tonight. Like, you're going out, you're going to be taken care of.
You're going to be taken care of. That's great.
Yeah.
Jumping into our appetizer, what dish, drink, or moment first made you fall in love with this industry?
I mean, I fell in love with the business growing up and having Instant Replay Sports Grill in Ohio, right? But I think what made me stay in the business is the art and the science and the creativity that you continue to see. Not only in places like Alinea, of course, or even the Aviary, or Esme, what they're doing over at Esme and
It's
bringing in
incredible.
local art and bringing that art at the forefront of every meal. I mean,
It's an incredible touch, and that's,
the opportunities are endless and the utility's still there, but the aesthetic, like, this still remains to be important, and I love that.
That's great. Moving into our entree, what is the hardest part of the work that guests never get to see?
The hardest part of the work. It's just like all the orchestration, the logistics, everything behind the scenes, especially when you're not in a front of the house role like this. We're a manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
So we need to make the ice. We need to do it well. We just got our highest degree of safety certification, which is a big deal because it means we abide by the strictest, safest, the strictest and safest regulatory requirements. So wearing your hats when you're in a production area or face.
I was I know I'm about to put my beard mask. I'm gonna put my beard mask back on when we tour the rest of the space and walk into the freezers. So we'll get to be all cute in a second.
Yeah. So there's an element of just ensuring perfection on the back end so the guests can have that perfect experience on the front end.
Okay. Jumping to our palate cleanser, tell me about a time that spontaneity led to something unforgettable.
I think learning how to sail. I was never I was never a sailor.
Yeah.
And just because I learned how to sail, I had this idea for Quarry Ice, 10 years ago. And I had always grown up on the water, more like power
boats instead of
things like that.
Sail. Gotcha.
And then in Chicago, I learned how to sail about 15 years ago and fell in love with the sport. Never imagined that it would be my happy place as it is. And that's where I feel my most creative.
That's great. Jumping into a dessert here, what does good taste mean to you?
I don't think about good taste in the traditional sense.
For sure.
I think good taste it's like the total vibe. It's like having a good vibe, being a good person, being authentic, and then allowing what you're creating to reflect that. Because anytime in our work or in even in ourselves, if you don't show up in that way, it's going to feel flawed. And I think in hospitality, if we want reoccurring customers, you're selling trust. To have good taste is like when you get that right.
Thank you. And lastly, to our digestif, if you could leave listeners with one lesson from your entire journey so far, what would it be?
I'm not meant to run production.
Okay. Heard.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think the biggest lesson is kind of what started, kind of helped me to make the leap to kind of do this. And it was the question I asked myself, what would I regret more? Would I regret going for it? Or would I regret not going for it? Would I regret kind of staying in my status quo job, continuing to do what I do?
Yeah.
In a decade, 2 decades from now, would I look back and say, shoot, I should have done that?
I should have just done it.
And so I think my biggest lesson is to live your life like that. Live your life like that. Like, YOLO, no regret.
No regrets.
No
just do
regret.
it. If you want it, just
If
do it.
we're
and
gonna
chase
do it, yeah, let's do it.
Well, thank you. That's great. I can't think of a better note there. Just if you want it, go after it. Push yourself. It's scary, but you got to go.
Yeah. Timing's never perfect.
That's true. Timing is never perfect. Audrey, thank you for reminding us that hospitality isn't always loud. Sometimes it's cold, it's clear, it's quiet, patient, but it's always built with intention and personality, one single choice at a time. Thank you so very much for joining me today, Audrey.